evening, everyone. Welcome to Contest of Speed in Silverstone for EU2. Let's quickly check the driver standings before we jump into the track. So Jack Hawkey is leading the pack with 130 points, Jack Heldorn with 120, Alistar with 108 completes the podium. Konzo on P4 with 74, Pookie with 51, Vabu with 43, 1 point behind him Matirobo, J Ray on P8 with 26, Rosa Sky 26, apologies, J Ray with 36, Rosa Sky P9 with 26, Cornish Kak with 23 on P10, Boyra P11 with 20, Almanac 19, Cornish Mantus with 18 points on 13, Ricky with 16 points on P14, MMFC Rate on P15 with 14 points, and ZNYQ with 2 points on P16. Quick jump to team standings. Mm, Apologies, I missed the window. A little bit technical difficulty for me. Apologies for that. So Red Bull leading the pack with 173, Mercedes with 151, Alfa Romeo 133, Williams with 115, P5 McLaren with 77, 2 points behind them Ferrari, P7 will be Alpha Tauri with 55, Haas 50, Alpine 33, and Aston Martin with 42 points. Alongside with me tonight is BK. Good evening. Apologies, not BK, of course. It's Hako. Good evening, Hako.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome for watching EU2 tonight. Always a good show.
Always a good show, especially that it's raining now in Quali.
Yeah, rain around Silverstone looks pretty. It is a pretty difficult track, but it does look about to be dry. So Skips is on a soft tire for now. So
Ricky on the track as well on soft tires.
so not wet enough for Inters, even though it is still raining. Uh, so it's basically kicking off where we left off in EU3 last night with the
Last laps of Grand Prix. But
yeah
in my opinion, tracks looks like really on crossover between dry and intermediate tire condition.
yep,
So
and
I'm
it is
really curious what those boys will be able to do. So let's stick with Kepsi for a longer moment because he is going to start his first flying lap.
yeah, he was the first guy on track, so we'll have the best conditions if it gets worse. So not flat through Abbey, which is turn 1, and he has to brake a lot earlier for turn 3 and 4.
So the conditions are not that optimal for those boys.
Definitely not. But it does look like a decent lap. I think his
Apologies for
tires are warmed up.
pausing. Carry on, BK. I just wanted to check is it everything okay because I was seeing a blank stream window.
Yep. Yeah, it looks like his car is pretty stable. Even though it is tricky conditions out there for everyone. Just miss the apex a bit in chapel and doesn't get the best of exits, but it is a decent lap from Kepsi here. Doesn't look like he's too scared to get on throttle, and the track looks like it's kind of getting a bit better. But I can't tell if it is going to be better or not. I don't have the telemetry on my end, but a 1:32.1 is the first time of the day in these conditions. So I think the next car going over the line will be Ricky TTV.
Yes,
And
it
he
is going to be
almost
Ricky,
won.
but he was way slower in Sector 2. Let's jump into Jack Hockey, who is finishing his lap.
And a 1:31.7
So
for
4 tenths
Hawkey.
faster than Kepsi.
So maybe the track is getting better as the longer we go on out there. Even though it's still raining.
Well, the question is what conditions we will see during the rain, because during the race, not the rain, because some of them might be using a bit higher downforce because of gently wet conditions.
Yeah,
Uh, and Chelt is going to complete his flying lap.
he is behind his teammate.
He's behind
Oh,
his teammate,
Kepsi.
and he was perfectly behind Kepsi and Cornish. Like Kevin jumps over the Cornish.
Yeah,
So
Kevin had
now
a really good quali last night. Um,
Boria
so
also managed to beat time of Mantis.
yeah, Mantis looks to still be pushing. So he isn't giving up on his lap this time around. So he will try and see if he can get 2 push laps in, but he will be out of battery. So he might lose out because of it. He is 7 tenths up on his lap, Mantis. So he does. It looks like the track is improving quite rapidly. Um, so no, he's gonna go into the pits this time around, as everyone else might.
I'm watching Shadow, one of 3 debutants this week in the Williams. So shortly we'll be able to say his delta after Sector 2. It is time more or less on Capsy or Gelt level, so might be 32s.
Yeah, the track
And
looks to
now,
be quite good by now. At least better when Capsule did his first lap. Oh, he's
and
spinning
he spun
around.
out, but he
So he's
still managed to make a P3.
that's a way to show off.
Probably, if not this spin, he would be over the Capsy on provisional P2.
Definitely. Ricciardo is still going for it. He's been on these tires for a while now. 3 laps old, I think. So he's
Yeah,
just
but
warming up.
this time he is not deploying. It doesn't look like, at least.
He is.
No, he's not deploying, but he is using DRS. So quite interesting strategy. Uh, and how about Pookie, who is in Magazine Beckets on his flying lap? 107.2, so I would expect he will complete lap with similar time as Kevin. on P6 currently. Thirty last turn, 32.3, so way better than Kevin. Provisional P4 for now.
Yeah, we got a lot of drivers out there pushing as the track is improving. At least it looks like the track is improving, as they're all just marginally scrapping away time on older tires. Kansu is also pushing his tires, but he is out of years now, so
And
it's
just
gonna hurt
minor
him.
improve after sector 2.
He's gonna pit. No, he's gonna keep this lap going as Horky just crosses line to start his lap. So going over the line now. What time will it be? It will be a 32.5, 30 for
Improved by 2
Kansu.
tenths, so one position up for him. And let's jump to McLaren of Fierce Snipes, third of our three debutants this week. I mean, it's the iconic track who everyone knows. So, is it the best track to make a debut in the league?
I would assume it is because it's a track everyone knows. It's a decent track for racing as well. Uh, it's a track you know you will get a few spicy moments at, and everyone knows how to drive. So it's a pretty decent track to have a debut at. And he is really pushing the car, Snipes.
Yeah, a couple of yellow flags behind him. Snipes after sector 2, 108.3. So he didn't start at his first attempt as good as he could.
No, but I would assume he's still got a fresh set of tires in the garage, so he might just be trying to test out the limits of the car in these
Yeah,
conditions.
it was his first attempt. He left the garage a few moments ago, and his battery deployment wasn't that big because it was about 50% on this lap.
And Jack Hawkins in the pits as well, so he did improve in his second attempt. Um, and Kepsi keeping out of the way for, I think that is Cornish, who's on an invalidated lap. And he will start his lap now, as well with Kepsi behind. And Kevin
Ricky on
behind.
out the lap. Gerald is on the push lap, minor improvement after sector 2, just 200ths of the second.
Yeah, everyone is starting their laps now. Two Alpines together on the main straight, going through Abbey now. And Kevin up ahead of them in the Aston Martin, trying his luck on a new set of tires.
Gerald improves, but he kept P6. Well, Kepsi is on the flyer, but definitely it's not his push lap. He decided to make a double push. He let the Alpines through.
Yeah.
And Boria, according to the game, had purple sector 1.
Yeah, I'm looking at Kevin, and his car looks really stable. And he does miss the apex in Chapel a bit, but his car is definitely quite decently placed on the car on the track as he goes 6 tenths up on his time.
Yeah, Ricky improving by over half a second in sector 1, in sector 2.
So Panda, do you think it's the track or is it the drivers learning to drive in these conditions?
Why not both?
It could be both.
So Kevin improves for P2, Ricky for P6, Boira for P5, pulling Ricky for P7. So
I
now
think Pepsi
P2,
will start
P3 and
this.
P4 with 600ths of the second difference. So that is sign for upcoming interesting battle. Mati Robo finally on flyer. A little bit of traffic in front of him. And it's only 2.5 minutes till the session ends, so not much space for potential mistakes.
No, definitely not. I saw Pepsi made a mistake on his uh, last attempt, I think it is. I don't think he has enough fuel to go for another lap, um, which is unfortunate as he does look quite decent.
I had opportunity to make a couple of 5 lappers with Kepsi, and his pace looks strong. We were expecting him to keep front positions in EU2, so we'll see. Meanwhile, Mati is finishing his flyer. Important thing, he wasn't deploying. He started to deploy right now.
So this is his push lap at the end of the.
At the end of the session, same as Almanac, just in front of him.
Corliss and Ricky retiring in the pits as they won't be able to do another lap.
Almanac now with Jack Hawkey on the outlap just in front of him, so I hope it won't affect his lap.
I think Hawkey's just about enough ahead that it won't really ruin his lap with dirt. So yeah, it might be a bit distracting, but you have to live with that because that is how it is.
Fierce is out of the session. It looks like some
He
incident in
crashed.
first sector.
Yeah, he could have spun out of Abbey. It is a possibility. Um, we saw it in EU3 last night. Someone spinning there. So it's not out of books.
Almanac P10. How about Mati Robo? Mati is improving after sector 2, and he improves but didn't change his position. So now we are waiting for Pookie and for Jack Hawkey. Kepsi decided to retire from the session.
Yeah, Pookie looks to improve. I think he was 3 tenths up, and he's 7 tenths up now through sector 2 as well. So he looks to fight Hawking for the pole position if he wants. If he doesn't mess up the last sector. It is a really difficult last sector. So
Yeah, and Hawkey is potentially ready to give him a response for the lap because he is on maggots. 31.3, that's the benchmark for Jack Hawkey. Hawkey
and
is improving, but just
um,
200ths of the second.
Yeah, he is really pushing the car now. Okay. He wants that pole position. He sets up the exit really nicely. And is he gonna go first? No, he's not.
No,
He's
he didn't
marginally not
improve.
improving. So,
So Pookie grabbed the pole position, 3 tenths behind Hoki, then Kevin. That's a really good sign for him, especially after really unfortunate yesterday's race. Completes the P3. Kepsi closing the second row. Shadow and Boira on third row. Chelt and Ricky fourth row. Konzo and Almanac, it's P9 and 10. Cornish Mantus, Fierce Snipes, and Matty Robo completes the grid.
yeah, that's a big margin between all the drivers, but it is really difficult in these conditions. So it's about who gets to adapt the quickest. It's not about who is the fastest. It's about adapting quickly to
And the
the
question
conditions.
is, what conditions will we get during the race?
Definitely.
They know, we don't know, and
And it is good.
it's raining.
So a wet race.
So Alex on chat is predicting that Buki is going to win after what we've seen in qualifying session. It might be a good call. For sure, Jack Hockey won't make his life easier.
No, I want to see Kevin redeem himself because he had a bit of he didn't have the best of luck last night. To put it P3 in EU2 is not easy to do.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it would be nice to see Kevin on P3. Fun fact is that only podium I scored in this season was in EU3.
Yeah. Um, I can't really reserve in any other tiers, but that's unfortunately how it is. It's not fair to have a faster driver in a lower tier. So, but everyone is on Inters, and it does look to wane quite a bit.
Everyone is on Inters.
Ooh, Pook, you're almost losing it on the formation lap. So it's not easy out there.
Yeah, especially the track is all wet. There's no racing line, so you need to find the grip spot.
Yeah, you really have to find where you can go and where you find the grip the best. Hmm.
I'm really curious now, will these conditions be the same till the end of the race, or it start to rain heavier, or the rain will be gone? So
Yeah,
many
that's
questions, not much answers.
definitely not. It could as well just dry up completely in a few laps. Um, that's that's that would put a spin in the works for everyone to adapt to dry conditions all of a sudden. When you first have adapted to really wet conditions, but Pookie is lining up in that pole position spot, and I think it will be the best spot to start from in these conditions. Um,
Yes, but in these conditions, you need to be even more. Oh, and check how he parked wrong on his spot, so he will get the cold tires. And what is this?
We need a
Shadow's
lovely
car.
restart.
So we will need a restart of the session.
Ah, that is bad luck. Shadow skies are racing.
It's definitely unfortunate for those boys.
Yeah. Um,
But look, D. Williams is going for another lap. So maybe he will be able, apologies, to park on the spot and we will get a proper start. Waiting for players. We are waiting for the shadow. But it looks like we will get a regular start.
is it?
Yeah, at least it looks like.
Did
No,
anyone leave? I hopefully.
no
I
one
don't.
left the session, and we are waiting for Williams of Shadow.
And he retired from the session, so I do think we need a restart. Unfortunately. I don't have access to the chat, so I can't see if they're restarting or not.
Yeah, so as I do. But after what I seen on the race start, we might get the session restart. Such a huge mess. Everyone left. So yes, we will get the restart.
Oh,
are back. Apologies for the mess and technical difficulties.
Nothing really we could do, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think
Now we're waiting
excluding
for Matthew.
excluding some weird minor bugs, Codis definitely should work on stability of cross-platform lobbies.
Yeah, I don't think it's only cross-platform. I think it's general stability we need. But at least it's crossplay now. That's a good thing they added. So Intes again.
Yep, it looks like.
Is it gonna go into dry? I don't know. Or is it Intes the whole way through?
I believe it will be Inters all through,
Okay.
because in lobby we've seen cloudy with small rain icon instead of sunny with small rain.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Back on the track, no formation lap this time.
Yes.
And away we
Starting.
go. Pookie with drive-through.
Pookie. No, Pookie, that's not what you
That's
want.
such unfortunate start for him. No, not
Jack is
telemetry.
in the lead, and Kevin is fighting with Shadow for P3. So Kevin had a bit of a bad
Kansas
start,
spans out on the back.
and Shadow is ahead of Kevin.
Shadow is ahead of
Uh,
Kevin. Kepsi, and but they swapped once again. Kepsi looks like he had a really good start. He was starting on P4, I believe.
yes, he was. He did a really good start.
Yeah, but
I think,
Jack already pulled 1.6 seconds away.
yeah, he had quite a bit of gap. I think Kevin got held back by the bad start of Pookie after he got that drive-through penalty for jump starting. So that kind of put Kevin on the back foot as he is being challenged by Shadow onto the straight.
Yeah, and he is really doing his best to defend against Williams' driver. Almanac swapping positions with Pookie. And Aston Martin was in McLaren sandwich. Pookie going to serve his drive-through immediately.
Yeah, he kind of needs to do that early on. If there's a safety car, he might be bailed out a bit. Um, but Kepsi is catching a bit back up to Jack and the lead.
Yeah, he's catching up a bit to Hockey and slowly pulling away from Kevin behind him. Mantus and
He's
Snipes.
out.
Snipes retires from the session and it's VSC.
So he has crashed at, I would assume that's turn 4 or 5. He's touched the outside barrier.
It looks like between 4 and 5.
Yeah. You usually don't see
So
crashes there.
I'd I'd say he was a bit too aggressive with throttle on the exit of turn 4 and he lost control.
That is definitely possible.
I made the
So,
same mistake at Monday,
yeah,
but sadly on dry conditions.
Is it gonna end now? Um,
It's only VSC, so it should be ending up quite shortly.
yeah,
And
Kepsi
it is green
completely
flag
got caught off
condition.
guard. He's being challenged by Kevin now. And Shadow is now trying to get Kevin as well, but he
And
is ahead of Kevin.
Shadow took Kevin. But look how much Kepsi lost to Hoki under the safety car. The gap was 1.6. Almanac first victim of track limits. And now Kepsi is losing over 3.2 to Hoki.
Yeah, and this is yeah, everyone's backed up now, so we have a complete train of cars now down to P9 from P2, which is crazy to think about. And Robbo is just outside that train as well.
Yeah, and Pookie looks like he is catching up pretty fast. When VSC appears, he had over 23-second loss to Konzo. Now it's less than 18. And Hoki is pulling away really quickly. He pulled away for another half a second from Kepsi, and Kepsi is under really big pressure of from Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow wants to take that P2 position and hunt down Hockey. And is he gonna sit? No, he's gonna keep behind for now. Yeah,
Almanac and Mantus swapping positions.
and Mantis is around. So a bit of contact between the two of them, maybe. Um, oh, fast slap by Hawkey.
Mantus is not boxing, so no damage for him probably. Yes,
Oh, putting up.
driving with any amount of damage on front wing with these conditions at this track would be really painful.
Yeah, definitely. Is Shadow gonna go for the move now? He is using overtake. He's gonna try and send it. No, he's gonna
He
stay
was,
behind for now.
he was so far a little bit of snap. There was a contact
Yeah, minor touch on the exit. Um,
of turn 6 it was.
yeah, Caps is really struggling with the car, I think. Uh,
Yeah, but they are still able to pull away from Kevin. Shadow stepped back on Magazine Bucket section. Now he is pushing really hard, but still was too far to make something happen. Kevin is defending against Jelt.
and Elmanak is trying to get ahead of Ricciardo. Um, but not able to do so as of yet. And he had such curb on the exit as well. So he's lost a bit of time.
It looks like Kepsi pulled away a bit from Shadow and he closed a bit of gap to Hoki.
Yeah. Yes, AJ, we do have a bit of a small grid today, but we
But
have
small grid doesn't have to be a boring race.
definitely not, especially not in these conditions. So Shadow is really putting under pressure on Capsi to go faster. And it is working because they're dropping Kevin and they're catching Hawkey a bit, and then they're losing time in the first sector, I think.
Yeah, they lost half a second in first sector to Hoki. Boria managed to overtake Heldorn.
And Shadow is going for the move now on Capsi. And Capsy is
Trying from
letting
the
him
inside.
go.
No, he's stepping away. No, it's Kepsi who stepped away from the
Yeah.
inside. Apologies for that.
And
So,
Jout is. Did we see the overtake that Bora did?
yeah, Boria. I mean, he overtook him just before Magastenbecken session.
Ah, that's a great move then. So both Red Bulls are struggling a bit,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
both Red Bulls struggling a bit, but now our debutants. Well, unfortunate debut for Snipes, but Shadow and Kepsi fighting for P2, and
Yeah.
Kevin managed to close that gap a bit. Kanza overtaking Mati. Mati is trying to switch back, but nothing will happen.
Yeah. Matty is he's doing his usual, driving within himself.
Look how far now uh, Heldorn and Boria runs away from Ricky, who is under quite huge pressure from Almanac, and Almanac going really wide over there.
Yeah.
So closest battle will be, I say, this one from P2 to, we might say, even P6. So 5 drivers fighting for podium spots. Kevin
Yeah. That is.
is doing his best to keep close to Kepsi on P3. And he's slowing down a bit. They are pulling away from him. And now Kepsi is pulling a pressure on Williams' driver. And Jack Hockey is driving himself.
Yeah. He's doing what he needs to do.
Um,
Manages the gap, manages the tires.
I just checked what AJ uh, texted on chat with Mantus on track. There's always trouble, never boring. Haldorn managed to get back P5 from Alpine, and it was more or less at the same spot he lost the position. And Almanac is trying to scare Ricky.
And it did work. Ricky won wide, but Almanac is too far back to make a send into the last corner.
And so, but it's still closest battle on the track. Almanac, obviously, if he wants to overtake Ricky, he needs to do it as fast as he can, because he probably will start pulling pressure on himself because of that time penalty.
Oh,
And he's
and
going for the
Ricky
move.
losing the car. Yeah, Ricky lost the car on exit there. Bit of too heavy on the throttle, I think, for Ricky, unfortunately. He was doing fine with his defending until then.
Yeah, and now Ricky is in sandwich between Almanac and Konzo, who will try pull as much pressure on them as he can, but meanwhile Geld is pulling a huge pressure on Kevin on P4. But will something happen this time? No. I believe
Yes, it
Red Bull
maybe.
on the
Yeah, going
inside,
for it.
really close. But Kevin managed to defend his position. And Ricky is losing another position, this time to Williams of Konzo. And look, I was speaking about Almanac needs to pull away from them, and it's over a second gap.
Yeah, he got the time penalty. He has to push every lap now. Uh, but he doesn't want to get another. As Matty gets a time penalty,
Yeah.
and he has caught up to Ricky now.
To be fair, because I never checked about this, is it possible to complete whole race on one set of inters on this track? Gelt
I don't
overtook
think it is.
Kevin.
Um, Around Silverstone, I don't think it's possible. If you have to make it work, you have to manage the tires really well. And looks like everyone is just pushing flat out.
Yeah, I mean,
As I think it's a slower strategy as well.
I mean,
Uh,
I believe inters will have more or less the same wear as medium compound.
I think maybe a bit worse. Um, but if you manage medium tires, you can make them go the whole race, I think.
I mean,
Uh,
my mediums after 19 laps was 80% wear, so
yeah. It really depends how you manage the tires and if you have safety cars and stuff. So
Kevin is doing his best to keep behind Gelt. Meanwhile, Shadow pulled away a bit from second Red Bull. It's around the second. So closest battle will be Kevin versus Gelt for P4.
yeah, Kevin going wide as he had the safety car on the inside.
Yeah, and
So
that makes opportunity for Boria. He's closing really fast to Aston Martin in front.
yeah, Borgia has some good straight line speed, I've noticed.
And also, mistake of Kevin helped him a lot to close this gap.
Yeah, definitely.
But meanwhile, what happened to Ricky? He dropped to P10 when Matti overtook him, and Matti is pulling pressure on Konzo.
Um, I don't know. Uh, I don't think he's got any damage. He might just be struggling with finding grip.
Boria is make a move on Kevin. So now Aston's on P6 and 7, and they are both going to pit lane.
Yeah, Kevin going really slow into the pit lane just to make sure that he doesn't get a time penalty. And
Konzo,
that is
Konzo
ridiculous.
decided to go to pit lane with them. Was
Is
there
he
any
under control
damage
from
for
the
them?
inters?
First set of inters for Boria. Fresh set of inters for Kevin. And first set of inters for Konzo. No front wings on the play, so it was just a strategical moves.
Yeah, maybe a bit of undercut attempt at the guys ahead.
And now Konzo dropped behind Pookie.
Yeah, but Pookie needs to pit again, doesn't he?
He had to pit after.
Lap 1.
No, he he ain't pit. He only served his drive-through.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, but he still needs to pit then. because I don't think you're gonna make those tires last for the full race distance. Unfortunately.
I mean, if you're super gentle and you have, I don't know, bird wing instead of feet on your throttle, maybe then.
Yeah, but you can tell how much how much better grip that console has, as he almost
Gonzo,
runs into the back of Pookie.
and he pulling away immediately. Mantus
And Cole is
decided
taking
to
out
visit a pit lane.
my old teammate in XP2.
My teammate in XP2 was Bryson.
Yeah, I
I
remember Hilly taking me out. Good times.
mean, I was
uh,
happy it was Bryson because he basically was only person I knew before I joined this league. So,
yeah, I've been teammates with Jones basically every uh, time I've been racing, but this season I was a reserve to start with, so fortunately not to be this time. Heck, was a great teammate. I appreciate it, Jones.
yeah, I had incident with your former teammate on the season closing race in Brazil in turn 4, I believe.
Could be. Um, I don't remember the races we did in XP2 besides the one in Singapore where I got taken out on the last lap. But yeah, accidents happen when you're racing. It's quite easy to make a minor mistake and then it causes a huge accident because we're racing so close to each other. Um, um, so
I
one
mean,
minor mistake might
I mean,
cause.
I'm really surprised that last two races on European divisions we seen only one safety car because there was plenty of wheel-to-wheel action.
Yeah, um, and only on VSC today. Uh, so it's been really clean racing this week. Uh, Not too bad with safety cars, and I think it's not been bad in the American tiers as well with safety cars. It's like everyone has stopped being a bit too aggressive. They've maybe found the limit, maybe, with the contact model and stuff.
So Kepsi and Almanac now decided to pull to the pit lane. No front wing change from Kepsi. Let's check Almanac.
Go on, Patty. You are on P4, mate.
Almanac also only tire change. Look how far did they drop. Boria managed to overtake Kepsi, so as Kevin Cal.
Yeah,
So that 2 laps undercut was pretty powerful for them.
yeah. New intros are really good, um, especially when you've been on the tires for like 12 laps or something. Then get fresh intros. It's like you've put on soft tires after a hard tire stint. Um, they feel really amazing, and
Yeah, especially that race is underway by a longer time and you have a bit drier line formed.
yeah, definitely. That's the thing. Uh, And a thing I had last year with this game, it was really difficult to find the grip on a new set of inches as well. But in this game, it's really easy to find the grip on a new set of tires. It's not like you're gonna struggle uh, to fire them up. Hockey and Shadow is now in the pits.
Leading two. So now the question is, where did they drive out?
And Maddie is in P2.
And Jelt
He is in.
leading the pack. Ricky on P3. And Ricky, before everyone pulls to the pit lane, was on P10, I believe.
Yes,
So
he was
Hoki
struggling a bit.
on P4, just ahead of Borea, and Shadow behind the Kepsi. And
Yeah, so the undercut is really powerful.
yeah, I believe Kepsi was losing around 1.5 seconds to Williams driver.
Yeah, about 1.5, and to close that in one lap is insane. And Kevin was falling quite far down on these guys, and he's pulled it all back and 2 laps of undercut. So the undercut is really powerful.
Yes, surprisingly powerful. I mean, I
I didn't
believe
expect.
that powerful, yeah.
Yeah, it's. I
Yeah,
expected like 3-4 tenths or something every lap, but not over a second per lap.
and now Kepsi is trying to pull the pressure on Kevin in front of him, and Jelt 5-second penalty for speeding in pit lane. That will complicate things for him a lot.
Yeah, especially if there is a safety car. But we have Matty leading the race and Ricky in P2.
Yeah, they are extending a lot, so I believe they are praying for safety car right now. And while Jelt
Yeah.
dropped behind Konzo.
And Almanac doing the fast lap. So he's got some pace in that Aston Martin.
Look, before Kepsi decided to pull into the pit lane, there was about 2 second difference between Red Bulls, and now he's losing about 6-7 seconds to his teammate.
Yeah, that's a big gap. You have to close up, especially with that 5 second penalty now. And Capsy got ahead of Kevin, and he's now got Shadow lurking behind him. And you can see that the fresher tires got a lot more grip. So will Shadow go for it into make it a back
Yeah,
hits? No, he's
the,
gonna stay behind and put Kevin offline actually, and he is gonna go for it. And he's got the inside for Chapu, and is he gonna go through? Yes, it is. And Kevin
but
has
in these
moved up him.
conditions, you have to wear really huge balls to do this.
Yeah. As you really have to trust the other driver as well to not just turn in on you. So great racing between Kevin and Shadow, and Kevin has already lost over a second,
Yeah,
1.5 seconds actually.
that's insane. Within one sector, we can say 2 seconds because the gap was about half a second when we was at the end of the old start finish line.
Yeah, and Jack is now overtaking Matty for the lead of the race. So fresh tires is the right call, and the Porsche is now catching up to his teammate. So I guess I would assume that's gonna be an easy let through between
Yeah, and
the two Alpines.
Boria got this advantage that Kepsi and Shadow behind him are fighting pretty hard,
Yeah,
but they are still closing up this gap a bit.
Yeah, they are. But all this fighting will destroy the advantage they got on the tires as well. So
especially for Shadow.
yeah, he's behind. So his tires will take a beating. Being in the dirty air, so you have to push a bit more.
And Boria already deleted 1 second of his teammate advantage. And I believe it should be... Okay, you are faster. Go
Yeah,
past
he's
me.
letting him through.
Yes, indeed. And Capsy was really close. Gelt, meanwhile, fastest lap.
And
136.1.
Pepsi is gonna try around the outside, and he
And he
might
did.
even make it work.
A little bit of contact.
Oh, a three
And
second penalty
Capsy with 3
because of the contact.
seconds. That's unfortunate. And but he is
Shadow is
still
behind
in
Ricky.
front of Ricky. Now Shadow needs to overtake Alpine. Going to the inside. Job done.
Yeah, I would assume that if Kepsi
And
doesn't get any more warnings, he could possibly get that removed as he got pushed off a bit. It's the contact model.
yeah, contact
Nothing really
model
to.
is interesting in this game.
Yeah, definitely.
And look, Ricky is already almost 1 second behind Williams of Shadow. And Kepsi is catching up Boria really fast. Even overtaking Ricky ain't slowed down him, and he close by 1 second to Alpine driver.
Yeah, but they got another obstacle up ahead in the form of Matt Robo,
Yeah,
the one and
but
only.
look how fast Hockey is pulling away from Mati. His tires have to be dead.
Yeah, the
Jeltz
Intercept
managed to
tires are
overtake
not.
Ricky. Risky call and probably not worthily for them. Pookie
No.
is closing up to Mantus really quickly. Before the...
Is that Ricky? Yeah,
Yes,
Ricky
it is
is.
Ricky.
He has spun.
Probably too wide on the exit. Touch a bit of a curb on the outside.
Yeah,
And he dropped to P12. So now I think Ricky should pit and try to steal the fastest lap.
yeah, definitely. Another.
Meanwhile, the yellow flag, and it's Mati. It was Mati Robo.
Oh, it's a puncture on the
Yes,
left front
it's a
left
puncture.
tire. So the tires are dead on Maddie's car, and there's nothing he really can do. The tire is screaming for help.
Somewhere,
The
somewhere
car.
meantime, Shadow managed to overtake Kepsi,
Yeah,
and
and they're now fighting Borgia up in front, and
and
Kepsi has
Rick
spun it.
and Ricky with free
Oh,
same second penalty.
and Kepsi has now lost his front wing as well. I think it was the right hand side. He might have lost the end plate on that car because of a minor touch.
Camera angle
Yes, right
is...
hand side end plate is gone.
That's unfortunate.
And Shadow is ahead of Borgia now. And Guild is catching up. But he got that 5 second penalty to worry about.
And Konzo is closing up to Kepsi.
Yeah, that front wing damage is horrendous. You can see how much he's struggling to get the front end turned in. So he might even have to pit.
Ricky and Mati pulling to the pit lane.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was hoping that Maddie could make it work. Oh, he's going on soft tires.
That's brave strategy.
And
Ricky
so
as
is
well.
Ricky. Oh, they're gonna have their own little fun now on the soft tires.
Yes, Mati, we seen that you tried, and it was super long extension of the stint. Almanac pulling the pressure over the Kepsi. Almost the contact. Almanac from the inside. And
Yeah,
Kepsi
kept going into
into
the
the
pit.
pit lane.
Yeah, he will need to get a new front end on, and Pookie has got a puncture as well. He is gonna need to go into the pit lane, and he has got a puncture on the left hand side as well.
I mean, that means the one last point for Kepsi is saved.
Yes, definitely.
And Ricky is causing the yellow flags in
Yeah, I
sector
think
2.
those soft tires they're not fun.
Wasn't the best call. What Kepsi
Definitely
did.
not.
Kepsi also decided to jump in for softs.
So they're all having a bit of fun.
Okay, so now I'm really curious what Pookie will do.
What will Pookie do? Will he go on to another? He's gonna go on soft as well.
Yes,
What is
that's
happening?
that's the brave call. No, after what I see on the track, I'm not going to find myself on softs.
Oh, it has stopped raining.
Ricky, five
I've noticed.
second penalty for speeding in pit lane, and he decided to retire in pit lane. Meanwhile,
Oh,
Hoki
I've seen why
is
they've done it. It has completely stopped raining.
yes, but
So
conditions are not the best for softs right now.
definitely not. If you watch it, Matty, how much he's struggling with the car as well. You can tell that it's not a fun time.
And Hoki is going to lap Pookie. Pookie is going
Yeah.
wide to make sure that he left all space he needed.
Yeah, he's struggling with soft tires. They're not fun to be on. Um, and Gerald is trying to catch up to Shadow in front, and he has got ahead of Porcher.
I mean, catching up to Shadow is one thing.
Passing is another. And
Mm,
getting that 5 second as well.
yeah, clearing that 5 seconds on Borja should be his main concern. And
Yeah, that
actually, it looks like Gelt and Shadow is the closest, let's say, battle on the track. Yeah, Ricky, it was interesting call to decide to pick soft compound.
yeah, I respect it because
You tried. That's really respectful for you, but it was too soon.
yeah.
Because we didn't notice. Was you a victim of puncture as well?
No, I think he pitted
And
just before he got the puncture.
it looks like Gelt is closing the gap to Shadow pretty quick.
Yeah, but he has to pass and get the 5 seconds as well. And he's
Yeah,
trying to get the 5 seconds on Borgia.
he need 2.5 seconds more advantage of Alpine behind him. It looks
Yeah.
like Almanac is slowly. No, he's not. Oh,
He's on
maybe
2-1.
he is slowly gaining to Konzo, but Almanac is another victim of track limits, so
Yeah, and Gerald is in 2 warnings as well, so he has to be careful with the track limits. And I don't know with Borgia. He does look to drive within himself at this point. But Gerald needs to push to get the 5 seconds on Borgia.
yeah, meanwhile, Hauke is like Max Verstappen this season or on previous seasons, Lewis Hamilton just driving by himself.
Yeah, he's having his own fun in front,
And Gelt
smashing the gap.
is under 1 second.
And he's almost got the 5 seconds to Borgia as well.
Yeah, so he is doing all he
Flying.
can. I mean, to catch up is one thing, to overtake, especially with these conditions, is not that simple at all.
Definitely not. And
And
Shadow gets
Shadow
3
with 3
seconds.
seconds!
So Gerald will do everything to get past now because he only needs 2 seconds on Shadow. And that's one mistake, basically, from the Williams driver. And Borgia will now hope that they fight and they push each other down.
Yeah, but it looks like Shadow got better place comparing to Alpine as well. Because they are all the time pulling away from him.
Yeah. But Joe wants to get past now.
Yeah,
So
definitely now Gelt have to keep uh, his head down and focus to not make a stupid mistake.
yeah, he wants to get that P2 finish. He's know he's able to get it. He's not able to get the exit. And Borgia is doing all he can
Yeah, but
to stay
Gelt
within 5
is
seconds.
closing the gap a lot on the straights.
Yeah. But he's not able to get the traction out of the corners, unfortunately, to get past Shadow. Borgia is too good, and
And
that's 3
Gelt with
seconds on
another
Gerald.
3 seconds.
So Borgia just needs to keep his head down now.
And Almanac is closing to Kenzo. Pookie with 3 second penalty for track limits.
Yeah, the soft tires do look decent by now. The track has improved, but it's not enough to be on for the softs to be fast, I think. And Gerald almost spinning as well. So he might be a bit mad at himself for making those minor mistakes. But he has shown he has got the pace.
Yeah, I was just looking Kepsi. He was almost 19 down only in sector 1 to his previous best lap.
Yeah, so the softs are definitely starting to get faster, but it's not gonna be enough to get a fastest lap, I think.
And look for the gap between Chelt and Borja. It is 5 seconds. If not that last
It's just
final
about.
warning, the P3 could be
Ooh.
real for him.
Yeah, which just 5 seconds, 8 seconds. Yes. He isn't really gonna be able to keep the podium spot, I think. Unfortunately, he has driven really well. tonight,
Yeah, meanwhile,
Gerald. He's shown the pace.
meanwhile, Hawkey last two turns to take the checkered flag and dominant win with the fastest lap of the race. Over 10
Yeah,
second advantage on Williams. Williams was also improving, but it wasn't
just
enough to stall this fastest lap from Hawkey. Gerald finishing P3 on track, but losing position to Borja because of time penalties. Konza and Almanac really close, just 1800s between them, but 3 seconds for Aston Martin driver. Kevin Cal, after starting P3, finishing P7. Mantus crossing the line as 8th driver, and I believe we are. Oh, we are waiting for Kepsi and Matthew Rabo.
yep.
So Kepsi will be the last one who crossed the line.
Yeah, and he's really pushing on those soft tires, but he's just about down on his time. So they're not fast enough yet. Um,
So that's the moment of crossover between the tires, I believe.
yeah. So he's just about below,
And DRS
and
is
yes, it's
enabled
able.
right now.
That's very unfortunate, as he has just passed the straight. But he's gonna go across the line, and I don't know if he got the fast lap or not, but I don't think he did.
I believe he didn't. Konzo picked as driver of the day by the game.
Check in P1. Dominant win today.
Yes, over 10 seconds advantage on track, 13 including time penalties.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate for Kevin. Showed so much promise, and he just didn't have the race pace today, unfortunately.
So Jack Hokey, P1 and fastest lap. L2 Shadow on his debut on P2, and Borja completing the podium. Jelt on P4, Konzo, Almanac, Kevin Cal, Cornish Mantus, Kepsi, and Pookie completes top 10. Matti, Ricky, and Fierce Snipes without points. So I'm sending invitations to the booths, to those boys.
Yeah, good race today.
Yeah, race was interesting. I'm a bit disappointed that we ain't seen that close finish like we seen a couple of weeks ago at Imola in basically all 4 tiers, I believe. But
Yeah.
now, will our podium's heroes decide to jump into booth for interviews? Let's give them 1 more minute.
Um, We're not even able to ask them in the chat.
Yes, but invitations were sent, so they get private messages about invitations to the channel.
True.
It doesn't look like they would love to join us. So, Hako, question to you, driver of the day in your own.
Ooh, I would almost say it's either Jack or I would assume who else drove really well. I would say Joe drove really well. Unfortunately, he picked up a few penalties on his way, but he did really well throughout the race.
Well, I say, okay, let's not take hockey because it was pretty boring race for him. But I say Shadow and Williams deserve that. Really,
Definitely, he drove
really
really well.
drove really well in tricky conditions in his debut. So I think I say yeah, Shadow. Okay, so
That's
it looks like no one is going to join us. I'm going to cry. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Apologies for coughing. Still not recovered fully. And I see you up tomorrow on EU1. Thank you all and have a great night. Thank you, Hako, for joining me tonight. Also, great night for you.
Thank you.